What's up, everyone? I've heard your requests for more videos, so I'm gonna do a yeast wash attempt today, and it's gonna be based on a video that I saw recently. I will link it in the description of this video, so look below this video for the original, and I'm gonna basically try to do the same thing. And what I hope to end up with is at least these 3 pint jars with some yeast in there that's been washed. Possibly in this quart jar too if I collect that much, and hopefully it will work today. I don't always get the separation that I want, so we'll see if I do today, and if I do, you'll see it in the camera. Shout out to Chip Walton of Brewing TV. I heard somebody talking about a 311 boat cruise recently. So I didn't say what this is. This is a beer made that's supposed to be like Russian River Sanctification. A friend of mine harvested, I can't see that, it's about 1010, some yeast from a few bottles of Sanctification, and he cultured it up and he fermented it, I think, with only that yeast. So then he sent me one of these pint jars that he had washed the yeast, and I brewed a beer that's, you can see, pretty pale in color. And I only used what he sent me. That's all I used. So it's a little bit sour and a little bit tart, and it's tasting pretty good right now. I think it's maybe like 3 months old. But in case I want to make this beer again, or if I want to give it to a friend to use, I thought I would try to wash the yeast. So that's what I'm doing today. Okay, this next step is pretty easy. Got a sanitized funnel, and I have boiled 1 gallon of water, and then I have cooled it. So it's, 50-60 degrees, just like the yeast in here is about 60. So you want to boil that ahead of time. And hopefully I can pour it in here. Whoa! Alright, well there goes a few ounces. That's alright. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that all the stuff on the bottom, down on the bottom here that's kind of stuck, I'm going to get it all swirled up. So that's the next step. Okay, here is the 1 gallon of boiled and then cooled water poured into here through a sanitized funnel, and now I'm going to start my stopwatch, and I'm going to hopefully in 10 minutes or more I'll start to see some stratification here, and if I do, I'll show it to you guys. Alright, it looks like this is actually kind of working today, which is good. It's been almost 15 minutes, and as you can see down here on the bottom, down here is the hop stuff, which there aren't many hops in this beer anyway, but then there's also a layer here. Am I seeing that right? Yeah, definitely. There's a layer right here, but then all of this is what I'm going to pour off. And I suppose I can do that now, and that'll probably all fit in just a one gallon jug. This next part might be a little tricky. I don't think it's a perfect science, but the goal is just to not include all of the stuff that you're not going to want. The stuff that you want stays on top, is always what I've heard when you're doing this kind of a thing. So, like I said, it's all milky water, yeasty milky water stuff coming out now, and in theory I could collect up to 1 gallon of it, but I think if I do get 1 gallon, then I'm probably getting more of the stuff that I don't want. And now the next step is going to be to continue to let it sit. Maybe I'll just kind of fill this up and then let it filter out again. But then I'm going to continue to let it sit here, and hopefully in the end maybe I'll get about, maybe I will get my 3 pints out of it in the end. So I guess I'll stop there. I probably poured a little more in there than I would have needed to, but now I'm going to restart my stopwatch. And I guess if you were to look here, it might be kind of hard to do with this camera, but this stuff is kind of more green and probably more of the stuff that you don't want, whereas this stuff is hopefully more of the stuff you want. It's now been 20 minutes that it's been in the 1 gallon jug, and you can see here's this line. So this is the stuff I'm gonna try to leave behind, and then the whole rest of it is what I'm gonna try to pour into the sanitized pint jars. And looking at this, I should be able to fill up about 3 pint jars, which is a decent amount. Some people try to do 4, but you know, it's whatever you want to do. You could always pour more water in to begin with to end up with more in the end. Okay, let's give this a try. I thought about using the funnel, but then I thought it would go so far down in there that I didn't want to mess with that. So I'm just going to try it like this, which I think this should work. So again, pouring the stuff that's on top, leaving the stuff behind, and actually, because I am only kind of aiming for 3 of these things anyway, I'm just going to fill them up, and whatever I get is what I get. And then after several hours or days, they'll compact even more. And I do have a lot of stuff left in there. You know, maybe I'll let this thing settle, and maybe I'll decide to pour some into the quart jar. But at any rate, after several hours or maybe even days, I'll do a video of what these look like and see what that is. I'm gonna screw on sanitized lids right now, and then we'll let them sit. Alright, I did all that previous stuff on a Sunday afternoon. It is now Wednesday morning, so not quite 3 full days. And it's taken this long for them to settle down, but now you can see this is what I have at the bottom of these pint jars. And that's probably, you know, pretty clean yeast. In this case, it's sort of yeast and wild critters as well. This one is still settling in the pint jar, or I mean the quart jar. But that's what I got, and that's what you'll get too if you do it like that and it works. And yeah, you can reuse the stuff as is, or probably would be better to make a starter out of it. And I would always say make sure that it still smells okay too before you start using it.